they're embarking on the boundaries review. Are they ready? Do they have the capacity? This is what we're trying to drill deeper to try and see if actually this past master as far as the constitution is concerned, the constitution of IBC as it is right now, bearing the fact that we have 3 commissioners as it is right now. So before we took a short break, I think we were running up with me.
I want to finish.
You want to finish? Just briefly, then we go to Richard. Yes. Very briefly.
Yes. I just want to give an example of when you talk about the Kriegler report being implemented.
Yes.
If you remember what happened in 2007 in Kenya, is that the votes began to be counted. It was a very close election between President Kibaki and Raila Odinga. What then happened is they withheld releasing the results in Meru and certain parts of central Kenya. Then, when they knew how much was the difference that they needed to catch up with Raila's tallying, they then started stuffing ballot papers. And that's why when you review and analyze what happened in 2007, it showed that in some parts of Kenya, people walked into the polling station, voted for Kibaki, and did not vote for the MP or the other, the council. At that time, it was 3-piece suit, which was abnormal, which means that was a clear revelation, which the Kriegler report looks into, that showed that there was ballot stuffing at the end in order to get
the numbers,
the numbers in order to make Kibaki win. So yes, once we know that, we should be asking ourselves, what system do we put in place? And secondly, there is also something that's very important. There has to be transparency in that system. So that, if I give the example of when we used to work at IEBC, the ballot papers, the packing list, it starts with the packing list. The packing list of the ballot papers from the printing plant in London must be given to all political party agents. And when it lands in Kenya, the political party agents must be there to receive the pallets that are landed into the country. And when they receive the pallets, they will be told they would normally come in as 17 pallets, because we used to have 17 regions. And those 17 pallets go to the North Rift, South Rift, Nyanza, and so on. And then again, upon landing in those regions, the political party, various agents of political parties must be present to receive it and look at the packing list. And when you open each of those 17 pallets, it then splits into the 219 constituencies. And then, again at the constituency headquarters, the constituency elections coordinators of IEBC, together with all the agents, political party agents, again receive those pallets and get the serial numbers and the exact numbers of the ballot papers. So that if anybody wants to manipulate, it's impossible because it is known. So transparency in the system in which you deploy election operations is paramount.
Transparency.
An imperative and an imperative if we have to have free and fair elections.
Thank you. Richard Onyonka, let me just indulge Prof, because he's leaving right now, then we'll just have all the time that we should, as we continue with the discussion. Now, debates on reforming the IBC, of course, also we know by then it was the ECK led to the interparliamentary group, the IPPG that we're talking about. There were so many recommendations that we had from the Kriegler report. First of all, you can begin, because you say also the appointment of ordinary members and the chairman of ECK by then be given legislative grounding. Consultation should include political parties and civil society in its broadest sense. It is not essential to any purpose that the actual appointment be made by the president, right? Alternative means should be considered, including appointment by parliament. How pivotal is it also for parliament to be included in this? Because I know they were also suggesting that all political parties should submit the commissioners they think should really, be vetted to actually get these positions.
Yeah, good. I think that you cannot avoid Parliament, because Parliament is a law-making body, and there already exists a law governing elections in this Kenya, both as a law and in the Constitution. So when proposals are made by the BBI to amend rules governing elections, you can't avoid Parliament. So you'll have to look at the existing law, the provisions of the Constitution, how to change it to make the IEBC that we shall next use for the next election a much more competent body managing elections which are manageable. I'm telling you, elections which are manageable, because if you let the IEBC, next IEBC manage another presidential election, I bet you my bottom shilling that they will not do any better, however well they're constituted, because there lies the real problem. Secondly, I think it is, personally, I would feel that in making a new law, there should be a panel of eminent persons, not just in their wealth also, but eminent in the sense that the men and women of integrity, the men and women who have the interest of this country at heart. Let political parties submit names, political parties who qualify to submit names. I mean, the political parties which are formed overnight, you don't even know their membership, their leadership, their constitution, and so on. Those I don't think are serious.
Yes.
But the political parties who have been in the field and are known as political parties, let them nominate people. Submit these names to a panel of eminent persons. Let this panel of eminent persons look at the names and give a report to Parliament that these political parties have submitted these names, independent of any other influence. We have looked at them, done research, whatnot. We recommend the following to you for consideration, so that Parliament itself is guided. Because I'm afraid sometimes Parliament also can be subject to some pressure to get some people appointed to the IEBC. People who may not, in the final analysis, will qualify the kind of character we want in the IEBC. So I think, as much as possible, let us have measures which reduce the possibility of getting crooks into the IEBC, the possibility of Parliament making a mistake by getting somebody IEBC because he has been an ardent party faithful. It may be an ardent party faithful, yes, but the moment he gets there and finds out some independence of the IEBC, it begins becoming a crook. Mm-hmm. So I think it is very important that in getting people in the IEBC, we really, really do our best to get the good people. And also in amending elections laws, we make those amendments, election laws, that to me, that gets rid of this presidential thing. Mm-hmm. Because if we have it, I'm sorry, we should be going back the same way as we have done in the past. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
your assessment, do you think they are ready to begin with the boundaries review, briefly?
Well, I think the boundaries review is something that's done every 10 years, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if we
with the three commissioners, do they have the capacity?
Well, I think boundaries review is a technical thing. The three commissioners can get specialists from the Bureau of Statistics or whatever, okay, who have, and do the technical thing and recommend it to them and they look at it. I don't think that, to me, the boundaries review is such a major thing that can defeat the three people. That's
but even if I may add something, Governor, remember they have up to 2022. Mm-hmm. So considering we are thinking of another referendum, and then we are thinking of an election, why can't we wait and do it afterwards?
Yes.
You know, I think it's even beyond 2022. Yeah. It's 2020. I think it's 2026 actually. Mm-hmm. We still have a lot of time. We don't have to do it now.
Thank you. Right.
So we can do it after post 2022, after elections, because I think IEBC is trying to chew more than it can bite.
Bite for now.
And even if they got extra commissioners now, they're running a bit late.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. I really appreciate. Thank you for your contribution and wish you best all in your meeting as well.
Thank you.
Let's just be listening in from Richard Onyonka, even as
Thank
Prof
you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Debarl, for me, I wanted to raise 1 or 2 points.
Yes.
If you look at IEBC, like my colleagues have said, the elections are the lower level.
Yes.
Election for a member of county assembly, elections for a member of parliament, all these other seats have never had really serious problems. But the truth is, there are certain elections that took place that left a lot to be desired.
Yes.
To many of us. For example, it is funny that you would go to certain areas and find that a whole list of a political party, for example, has got the governor winning, the women rep winning, the Senate winning on one party. And then you find that they have lost all their MCAs and have lost all their members of parliament. These are things we need to ask ourselves about. Number 2, I saw the elections which took place in Kibira.
Yes.
I can tell you that the lady who was in charge, I don't know what her name was thorough. She was very precise. Issues that were being brought, she was responding immediately, which tells me that the personnel that has been handling our elections are actually well trained, they're actually well prepared, and they're ready to hold the elections.
Yes.
Now, the believability and the issues of where our elections are going to, whether our elections are going to be believed or not,
yes,
takes me back to where we were in 2013. Debarl, if you look at what happened is, up to today, we actually don't have the figures of the servers. Up to today, you know, Kenyans have short memories. Up to today, we don't have figures of what were the servers having and what were the servers talking about. You know through the server. Once you've done an entry, you cannot reverse it. Even if you reverse it, the computer itself the signature actually remembers what you did into that entry. We never got that. Number two, it is true, the way Professor Manyora has said, our politics somehow has to change. The nature and the behavior of us as a people, so long as you are winning, then it is okay if that winning gives you an advantage against your opponent. In fact, if you steal the elections, they say you win an election, you lose an election, or you steal it. And that is where most people begin, by running for office. My honest observation is that Chebukati needs to realize Kenyans want to believe in him, but there are things he must do to make Kenyans believe in him. There are structures and systems that we must change within our elections structure. There are things which have to be done in such a manner that, and I remember my colleague, Mheshimiwa Sholei, Madam Sholei has just said it. Why are we unable to give results for elections every 2 hours, for example? So that as you're moving on, there is nothing you are inventing. Science will tell you that when people start voting in the morning, the numbers will be there, and as the day begins to move on, the numbers will be reducing, and you can see when there's a spike. That will automatically tell you that somebody was stuffing ballot papers, so that you increase the numbers of whoever you want to win. Number two, everything about IEBC as we speak is about procurement. Remember, Debarl, we don't even know if Mzee Manyora, who is MOFO till today. Who knows what MOFO is? What did MOFO do?
MOFO has
I like
morphed.
the name.
MOFO has already morphed.
It's morphed to other monikers as well. Yes.
Exactly. So the point I'm
like it.
raising, if you don't even know who is supposed to provide the software, even the hardware,
thank you.
even the ballot papers where they're being printed, we are 2 years to we are a few months to a referendum and 2 years to an election. What is IBC telling Kenyans? Are they prepared? Are they willing?